Hey guys, welcome back to episode 2 of Live with Matty Denny. My name's Matty Denny, and today we have two amazing Australians that have made history in the last week and a half. But first thing I want to say is I appreciate everyone joining on the first show. We had a great time, some great return, and it was awesome having some interesting chats about many topics. And I think we're going to cover some solid things today because we've got two curlers, and now I said to them before, I was like, is it bad to crack a joke about the only curling that I do is in the gym, because I don't think I've ever touched an ice rink in my life. But let's make sure we have a big welcome here for Tahli Gill and for Dean Hewitt. Guys, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us. Now, where are you right now?
We're in Canberra, Canada at the moment.
In Canada, okay. Well, first off, let's big congrats. Making history, first team to ever make the Winter Olympics for curling in any capacity. It must have been a long path because obviously with Australia, we don't have any rinks in Australia, and you guys have had to really, reposition your lives to make that. How's it feel?
A lot of things. Yeah, it's pretty surreal, and just like, it's just awesome to be in this position right now.
There's 10 teams that make the Olympics for curling. Why is it only 10 teams? Why is it, why do they funnel it down? Does it just take too long, or?
Yeah, the event is pretty long. I mean, it's the longest event out of the Olympics. There's more coverage from curling than any other sport. So we have to play, 9 games at the Olympics, and then that follows up by the men's and women's disciplines after that. So the schedule is huge, and they can only really fit in 10 teams at the moment, or 10 countries.
Okay, and what's like a time frame for the game? Like, what's a short game and what's a long game?
So for mixed doubles, it's around 100 minutes or so.
Yep.
And then for men's and women's games, you can be looking at 2.5 hours to even 3 hours sometimes.
Yeah, wow. Okay, that's not too bad. I mean, disc comp takes an hour and a half, but doubling that, I think I'd be too exhausted to be able to come off the field. How's the team look? Whose position is what? Is it pretty similar? Because I know for the winning shot, Tahli, you threw the last stone, but is it pretty equal in responsibilities for the team, for you two?
Oh, this is a loaded question.
Well, I would say it's more divided in mixed doubles, and for us, like, a lot of different teams do it differently. So there's like 2 positions really. So I throw first and last rock, and Dean throws middle 3. Yep. Basically, his job is, like, we both throw the rocks, obviously, and then his job is to sort of sweep and call the weight, and then I'm in charge of the line. So
okay, and then so last rock's called anchor, isn't it?
Hammer.
That's it. Sorry, something heavy. Yeah, something heavy. Yeah,
it's
nice.
Like
okay,
anchor, really.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, well, I know stuff. So how did that game play out for you guys, finally to get, your spot on the team and been working for a while for it?
Yeah, it's sort of, I guess, I tried really hard to not have that kind of like, this is for the spot at the Olympics, like really big build up. And I tried to just be like, okay, it's just another game. It's just another game in the round robin. Yeah. But obviously it's like always in the back of your head. So it was a bit of a rocky start. Like the first half of that game, like we probably weren't as sharp as we normally were and how we had been playing that event. But our coach really gave us a good nudge, and we brought it for the second half. So yeah, I mean, there was a lot on the line for that game, and we just kept pushing through and made it work in the end, I guess. I
mean, it was amazing last stone, like basically nearly dead center. I guess with that last stone that you threw in, and you coach John Morris, so he's obviously been there, done that, and he's won an Olympic gold medal, Olympic champ. He must have been having some solid advice for what to focus on. What was like kind of your cues that you went through?
Yeah, I guess for the last shot, he just came out and I was talking about taking the other side, which is, I'd been throwing that for most of the game, and he was like, throw the other side. This is where you want to aim for, and you'll make it. And I was just like, okay, yeah, I'm ready to go.
Yeah, nice.
So I think, having him in that position just is good for our confidence, really.
So the sweeping, so does that shape the shot, or is it more the person who throws the stone? Because I noticed that it's very delicate in the hand positioning of when to turn the stone off release and whether you want it to turn. But is it more one or the other? Or is it both connected? Like, how does that turn happen if you're trying to make a curling shot?
It definitely is more important to make the throw the important component. The sweeping can adjust it a little bit. So we can get, another 2 meters out of the rock. So we can carry the rock another 2 meters towards where we want it to get to. We can't do anything to slow it down.
Okay.
So you can just throw it good. If
so you're better slowing slow than fast.
That's right.
Yeah,
Too slow, you still can't get it there. So
Okay.
That's the main component about the distance. Then you've also got the component around making the rock go a little bit straighter. And that has to do with like the angle of how I sweep.
Yep.
And I can make the rock curl a little bit more than what it usually is. So that kind of rotation that we put on at the end there, that's what makes the rock curl.
Yep.
And the sweep adjusts that just a little bit here and there.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, because I think people get confused in whether it's making it go faster or slower, and are you actually turning or is it the hand? And I was reading your article after you win with Fox Sports, and you were talking about how we don't have enough facilities in Australia. Like, we don't have any facilities in Australia. That's why you guys have had to move, travel overseas a lot and to be able to do your training. So I guess my first question is it really like doing lawn bowls on a beach compared to the actual real thing?
No joke, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, really? Okay.
Yeah. So a lot, we're playing on skating ice, and if you ever play on skating ice around the world, it's the same outcome. It's chopped up, and then you've got a little bit of time to put a Zamboni over the top, but it's not flat. We need
Love a Zamboni, yeah.
Flat.
Yeah.
And yeah, you just can't get that in Australia at the moment because we don't have any dedicated ice. So pretty much when we practice in Australia, we'll throw the rock. Then you basically need to just close your eyes because the outcome itself, you have no idea where it's going to end up.
So it's the texture of the ice.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Okay. Does it does it dictate, does it turn more? Does it go slower? Is it harder to, well, I would assume slow if you're throwing lawn bowls on sand and sinking in, but it just doesn't have the glide capacity.
I'd say D, all of the above.
Okay. All right. Cool. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Literally the direction changes a lot. So you put that rotation on the rock, but that doesn't even mean it's going to curl that way. Sometimes it goes the opposite way to what it should actually rotate towards. So, the direction, the speed, a whole bunch of things like that is.
You might as well throw it like a discus and hope you hit the pin on the head.
Honestly, I thought about
it. Maybe we have something going for me in Australia, curling.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay. And how, I guess you guys have been talking to sponsors and trying to get more support, but is there an actual horizon to being able to get a curling rink for you guys in Australia? And because there definitely is interest, and I saw about how there's a lot of championships that go over to New Zealand to compete. Yeah, so that's the main thing for Oceania area to be able to actually compete.
Yeah, so for us to actually play our nationals, we have to go to New Zealand because if we play on the hockey ice that we play on, it levels the playing field completely. So you need to play on the best ice to actually show who the best player is, I suppose, or the best team is.
Well, I'll tell you what, with those black and white shirts, you'd think you'd more Kiwi than Australian at this point in time.
More kit, which is more green and gold, eh?
Yeah, I know. We might need to get a bit of colour spice in there. No, that's good. That's good. And so, Dean, your mum competed for Canada?
No, so she grew up in Canada.
I grew up in Canada, but she had curled before.
That's right. So she lived in Canada for many years, but when she moved over to Australia and met my dad, they both curled for Australia for a number of years, and dad actually got to the 92 Olympics, but that was a demonstration sport at the time. Yeah, they've curled for years, and they taught me how to curl, and I even got the chance to play with my mum at 2 world championships, so that was pretty
really
special.
How cool is that? That's very cool.
Sport,
So was that the same thing where you guys would have to travel to New Zealand to be able to even train or even have a go at it? Or how do you guys play lawn bowls in the off season, or, how does that work?
Well, we train when we're in Australia, we train on the hockey and figure skating rinks, sort of once a week, midweek kind of late night. It's like the scrap session.
Yeah.
And then, like we try and get to New Zealand whenever we can. It's the closest dedicated curling rink we have. And that's where all our championships are. So generally you would go over a week or a few days before and get on some good ice, but we try and get overseas as much as we can to get good competitions and get on the good ice.
You'd have a pretty hectic travel bill, I would say that.
Yes.
Yeah, I think most athletes do.
Yes. Sponsors where you at? No, and do you think that that's on the horizon to be able to get an actual dedicated rink? Especially now, the first ever, surely let's get some more interest. Let's get some more people in and actually, get it to happen.
I really hope so. That would just be huge, I think, for curling in Australia. And hopefully now that Australia has a spot in the Olympics, it'll spark heaps of interest and potentially get a rink out of it. That would be awesome.
And for goodness sake, New Zealand has 3 dedicated rinks.
Surely. There's some cold places in Australia.
Exactly.
And Tahli, your mum was basically your coach for a long time. Did she have a background in curling as well, or was it just hey, let's go hit the ice and throw stones?
She started on the Olympics actually, and basically she's just oh, it's a really cool sport. I want to try it. Yep. I was kind of involved with figure skating when I was younger, and she did a bit of skiing. So for some reason, being in Queensland, we were involved in winter sports.
Yeah.
And then, she was constantly going, and she actually represented Australia for women's and mixed doubles as well. And then, she taught me how to curl, and I really loved it. And I'm the same. I actually play in a women's team with her and my 2 younger sisters. So it's a real family.
Yeah, wow. It's very, very close-knit community family orientated sport.
Yeah, it's really cool. And that's another reason why we love curling, because it's such a close, and it is really family, whether you're actually related or you just feel like family because you're so close with everyone.
And is this a sport that you could potentially just do 30 Olympics and just keep going until your knees break, or?
Pretty much.
No, that's well, for Com Games is I forget what his name is, but he's 75 or something, and they won Com Games gold in 2018. I was like, maybe after discus I've got an idea.
Well, yes, literally just qualified today for the Olympics for curling, and it's his 6th Olympics. So you can play in a few, that's for sure.
Yeah, okay. And are the knees the first one to go?
Oh, heck yeah.
But a lot of the older, we had an event, and a lot of the sort of older, not older, but people have been curling for a while, they're having a real go about their knees.
Yeah.
I was it doesn't sound good.
No. Yeah, they've all got braces everywhere, and
I was gonna say, mate, a static knee hold would be my bane to my existence, I reckon, at this point in time. Yeah. It's kind of all right, if it's below 90, let's forget about it. And so John Morris, obviously Olympic champ and now coaching you guys. When did he come on board, and what did you notice a big difference in providing advice and your style of training and how that built?
Yeah, so he came on board, I think it was 2020, because it was after,
been 2 years.
Yeah, 2 years. Yeah, so we got 4th at the 2019 champs, and that was kind of a big breakthrough for us in terms of getting a lot of support. And then also getting John on board to help with coaching, and he's awesome. The just experience and it's sort of almost untangible things that he brings to our team, and he's just a top bloke.
Just a good guy to have around and to teach you things.
And I mean, he's a gourmet chef too.
So you got hectic food as well post training.
The best.
Yeah, I rate that. And so with your training, obviously your event is key, but is your conditioning really specified to that, or do you have what is your outside training? Do you have a lot of variety, or is it mainly just playing?
It's
Yeah.
a lot of playing.
Yeah, it's a lot of playing. Okay.
Yeah, when we're at home, and I suppose maintaining overseas, but especially when we're at home at the institutes, and it's really important to spend a lot of time in the gym, especially like for me doing all the sweeping, like that upper limb strength and power is so crucial because you're trying to put as much body weight as you can through the broom and try to move it as quickly as possible at the same time. So the intervals that you're doing in training is just huge, like just back-to-back intervals, basically doing 20 to 25 second sprints with your arms and having 45 seconds off and then going again. You can do that, 40 times in a game. So it's a lot of arms, and then obviously just the legs, just to throw the rock as well. Having that power there to generate those really high, hard, powerful rocks are key as well.
Before we continue with the interview and get into our last part, make sure to stay around to the end because we will have a quiz where you can win a signed t-shirt by myself and our two newest Winter Olympians named. And you'll be in the running for that and we'll send that out. So guys, before we finish, the main thing I want to talk about is medals, the real grunt side of Olympics. Because it's only it's 10, you got 10 countries to compete against. So, that it's you're in that close proximity. Is that the goal? Or do you think that's possible? Like, obviously, I mean, that's everyone's goal, but I think that'd be very possible for you guys. What do you think?
It's always possible.
It's
always going to be a hard slog out there. So we've played all these teams before and hopefully we can get on the right side of them at the Olympics, and we're going to be pushing really hard for it. So we'll see what we can do. But hopefully we can get something for us.
Who's your main countries at this point in time that you're kind of up against?
Well, I would say the top dogs are probably Sweden.
Oh, really? Yeah, me too. Yeah, I got two Swedes that are ahead of me at this point in time that drive me insane. So
let's beat him for you then.
No, good. Get one back. I'll text them after and I'll be like, all right, listen, guys, this is just the beginning. Okay, so Sweden, Canada?
Yeah, Canada.
Canada.
Scotland. Norway.
Probably Switzerland. Like they're all really good.
Yeah, okay. And so with making that gap, do you think that if you had an ice rink that, it'd be much easier to get to a point where you'd be up there, if not dominating?
I think it would definitely help. I mean, I think the other thing is also getting competition to Australia as well. So we have to go overseas and mainly Canada because the competition here is so great and there are so many teams that you know about or don't know about that are just such a high level. So I think after getting an curling rink, the next step would be attracting a lot of international events to Australia. And you could even do a cool Trans-Tasman thing between a tour around Australia and New Zealand. So there's lots of possibilities if we can get a curling rink in Australia for sure.
And I think it'd be definitely a little bit more pleasant with not having to put up with minus 25 all the time. At least you can walk out, go to the beach and then come back and then you just hit the rink.
Exactly. Yeah. Who doesn't want that?
Yeah. The absolute dream.
Actually, cool down in summer.
Yeah. The Winter Olympics in Australia or what? That'd be so weird, I reckon. That'd be such a weird play out. Guys, all right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today and good luck. Such amazing stuff that you're making history for Australia, and I think there's more to come for you guys. So I appreciate you joining me, and I hope that we talk again before you compete. So good luck.
Thanks,
Thank
Matty.
you so much. Thanks.
No worries, guys. No worries. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Make sure you tune into the next one, and make sure you stick around for this our little quiz before we lock off this episode for another done and dusted. So appreciate it, guys. Take it easy. Talk soon.